I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
This weekend,
let's go get him.
the creator of Home Alone invites you to sneak out the door.
There he goes!
Scale any height. Leap any obstacle. And drop everything for the special advance preview of Baby's Day Out.
I lived.
Rated PG. Special sneak preview Saturday and Sunday. Check newspaper.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is a Patreon review for Total Meltdown 2. Again, I apologize. I'm trying to get these videos out to you as quick as possible. That's why I'm uploading multiple videos per day. I'm going to do my best on that. I appreciate everyone who has sent me requests via either PayPal or Patreon. Believe me, I'm going to do my best to get out to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much to everyone. And if anyone's ever wanted to request any videos, commentaries, re-reviews, reviews in general, movie topics, what have you, again, you can do it directly via my PayPal or be part of my Patreon. Either way is fine. If not, no worries. But one of the films Total Meltdown 2 wanted me to talk about was Baby's Day Out from 1994. And I know this was written by John Hughes, actually. Guy who directed Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Planes, Trains, Automobiles. And this is a film that apparently was very successful overseas. In the US, not so much. I know a lot of critics didn't care for it. Baby's Day Out is a very simple, straightforward, I thought cute, funny little movie. I do remember watching this a few times when I was a kid. I think what I like about it, it does remind me of the old school comedy like the Three Stooges, that type of comedy. In fact, I kind of looked at this as if the Three Stooges were bad guys. That's kind of what this movie is, which is interesting. And still a better Three Stooges movie than the Farrelly Brothers Three Stooges. Because you have these three kidnappers. Two of them, I forget what the third guy's name is, but one is Joe Mantegna, who I like. Actually, let me double check on that. Yeah, Joe Mantegna. I like him as an actor. He's a good character actor. And the other is Joe Pantoliano. And I want to get the third guy's name because they all three did a good job. They're kidnappers. There's this baby that this rich couple have. And they want to... They're pretty shy about showcasing their son. But they're like, hey, you know what? We're proud of our baby. Let's showcase him. Let's have an actual professional photographer come by, take some pictures of the baby. It'll be in the social pages of the newspaper. But these three people, Joe Mantegna, Joe Pantoliano, and what was the other guy's name? Brian Haley. They're like, hey, we're going to kidnap this baby, get a ransom for a couple $1 million. But then after they get the baby, they cannot keep it at all. in their peripheral vision. I mean, they're always losing this kid. And that is what reminds me of the Three Stooges. Now, people probably mention Home Alone because John Hughes had a hand in writing Home Alone. And the way the kidnappers get beaten is reminiscent of Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern's characters. But I just, with the way the three act towards each other, the way they talk down to each other, Joe Mantegna seems like a Moe type of character of Moe Howard. I just got a little bit of a Three Stooges vibe. Like, idea if the Three Stooges were villains and they said, we're going to kidnap a baby, and of course everything goes wrong, and you have the slapstick, you have a cute baby. There's a point where the baby's on the roof and Joe Mantegna is trying to get to it, but he gets hit by a board. And then the other jump over the roof, but he doesn't. He falls, and a lot of silly slapstick. The baby gets from point A to point, just fucking gets everywhere. And they're following it as best as they could. They get beaten up by this woman. They get to a zoo where this gorilla, pretty well done gorilla, and it's protecting the baby. And one guy's trying to reach in. The gorilla just smashes his hand. It's very silly. It's very over the top. It's not meant to be taken in a realistic sort, of course. Funny enough, it's actually directed by the guy who did Spaced Invaders, that 90s film, Patrick Reed Johnson, who also did Angus, 5/25/77, When Good Ghouls Go Bad, The Genesis Code. Those are the only films he's done. But yeah, it's written, because by this time John Hughes sadly had pretty much retired from directing. I guess because he really was upset with Curly Sue's performance at the box office. I went, okay, get back on the horse and direct another movie. But I guess maybe he felt, I have nothing else to say. Okay, I mean, you were doing films like Uncle Buck, 89, but okay, so he just went to write movies. And he helped write Beethoven, Home Alone 1 and 2, Dennis the Menace, Flubber. How much of his scripts were used, I don't know, because there's always the possibility of rewrites or improv on set. You never know. And yeah, it did not do well in the US, but apparently in India and South Asian markets it did phenomenally well. In fact, Roger Ebert apparently, he asked if Star Wars had been their most successful American film, and he went, no, Baby's Day Out was. And this was in his trip to Calcutta. It was remade twice over there. Interesting. And there's going to be a video game for Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis and Game Boy, but it was canceled. Yeah, you don't need a video game on Baby's Day Out. But the movie, it's a fairly straightforward film. I mean, I like the art direction of the movie, because it really makes it feel as if you're in this old school city of back in the day, because it doesn't take place in modern times, I don't think. I can't remember what year is specified, but the way certain vistas look, just kind of a decent look of a time period of back in the day. Like I said, I think it has some nice art direction. And this is going to sound stupid, some nice usage of the baby. Because they try to put the baby, obviously they want to be as safe as possible. But this is probably why the budget was a bit bigger than you would think. You want to put the baby in these dangerous situations, but at the same time you want it to be as safe as possible. So whether it's green screen or I don't know what they utilize with that. I know I think they said Vern Troyer from Mini-Me from Austin Power sequels, that they used him for the stunt baby. But whether it be the third act where they're at this construction site and the babies go all over the place, they're chasing after, and just all the slapstick hijinks again that you would see in the third acts of the Home Alone films or in the Three Stooges shorts back in the day. One bit that always made me laugh is they're trying to hide the baby from these cops, and the baby finds the lighter and lights it, and it's at Joe Mantegna's crotch. And I know that's lowbrow, but the slapstick of it, mainly Joe Mantegna's reaction. And he can't tell the cops because cops are there, but it's like, I can't recreate it, but that's really where the fun of the movie came out of. Was I thought the three who played the kidnappers did their jobs fairly well. They were funny, they were entertaining, they played off each other well. The art direction, the idea, you would never see it today because they feel that's too, oh my god, that's too horrifying. How could they even think of that as a plot of a movie? But funny enough, if they could, they would have done a plot like this in the 30s. And that's what I think they was trying to mimic, those comedies of the 30s, of a Three Stooges short, or something to that effect. Maybe I'm wrong, but I have a feeling if John Hughes was trying to do something with the script, it was trying to be in that vein. Also because of the time period that they showcase in the art direction, the effects work, showcase the baby in these situations, and how they utilize that, whether you want to call it a baby wrangler or whatever they did. I thought they did a fairly good job utilizing that. I mean, any problems I have with it? I don't know. I don't really have too many problems. The baby was cute. It wasn't annoying, irritating, or anything. It was a cute baby they had. I think it was utilized well with all the sequences they had to go through. Again, the three guys were funny, I thought, and the reactions. Cool to see people like Joe Mantegna and Joe Pantoliano, usually used to more serious fare, just having fun and just enjoying themselves. I like Home Alone 1 and 2, so I don't mind slapstick. I know I'm the guy that complains about lowbrow humor, but that's mainly about, I'm not a fan of fart jokes or that kind of stuff. But slapstick, I'm a sucker for. Because I grew up with stuff like Three Stooges and Abbott and Costello, and that's the stuff I grew up with as a kid. So, I was fine with that. There's apparently the DVD of this has a commentary from the director. Interesting. Did not know that. Doubt this has a Blu-ray. I wouldn't mind picking this up. I don't know if the DVD's in print anymore. It might not be. But I wouldn't mind picking this up one day. I mean, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Obviously, if you're not into... You watch the trailer. If you're not into slapstick, if you're not into the plot... Like, for example, Roger Ebert contains gags that might have worked in Baby Herman cartoon, but in live action with real people, they're just that funny. I know on the Siskel and Ebert show he mentioned how, oh, this would scare kids and it's horrifying. I'm like, one of the few times I agree with Gene Siskel when, no, it's not that bad a movie. It's Washington Post, I agree with this review. The pace is quick and efficient. Almost everything in the picture is just right, including the crooks who abduct the toddler, end up bruised and begging hilariously for mercy. The baby itself is cute and expressive. Has a good smile. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's harmless fun, in my opinion. I mean, I know this isn't much of a review, but it's a pretty straightforward film. I mean, the music works for what picture is trying to be. Again, the way the old school city looked, especially in the construction sequences, or showcasing the cityscape when they're so high. And then all the slapstick physical pratfalls. Like the baby is crawling, he drools. That's, babies drool. And Joe Mantegna is trying to go after him and he slips on it. I know I'm not selling it, but again, check out the trailer or check out footage. If you find to watch and you like Home Alone, you like Home Alone 2, you like Three Stooges, you like those kind of harmless pratfall slapstick type of comedies, it's well worth a look. And again, I'm impressed with the way they utilize the baby and what they're able to do with it, because they would not do that shit nowadays. That's way too dangerous, way too this, way too that. Even though I guarantee they made sure it was safe back then, but even the idea, they go, the idea is too horrifying. Or whatever. It's just meant as a harmless, fun movie. I guess, Roger Ebert is right in the fact it does remind you of, they took one of those cartoons, they brought it to life. But to me, that's not a bad idea. But maybe that's just me. But either way, that's my thoughts on Baby's Day Out. Thanks for watching. Take care. Thank you once again, Total Meltdown 2. I'll get to your rest of your requests as soon as I can. And we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.